Call us to order. If we begin, those who are willing, would you rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Code enforcement officer, if you want to stay standing, I'll swear you in. Sir, are you here on a case? Yes. Then I'll swear anyone else going to give testimony, go stand. I'll swear you all in right now. See none. Do you all swear from the testimony you give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. And for the benefit of the respondent, who doesn't know who I am, my name is Drew Smith. I'm the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate for the city. I'm not an employee of the city. I'm a private practice attorney. I've been practicing local government law for about 22 years now. So my role in these proceedings is to be an independent trier of fact. And the order of the proceeding on each case will be that the Code Enforcement Department will present their case. They'll present to me an evidence package and testimony. When they're done, if you have any questions for them regarding the case, regarding testimony you want me to hear, you have the opportunity to ask those questions. If you have no questions for the Code Enforcement Officer, once they're done with their presentation, I will invite you up to the podium and you can present to me anything you'd like me to hear or see regarding this case. If you have any documentary evidence, just remind you that we have to keep for the record anything you give. So make sure you're giving us a copy that we can keep if you have anything you want to hand to me. Okay. With that introduction, do we want to take his case first since he's the only respondent? Yes. Oh, he's already the first case up, so we can call the first case.
Case number 2024-887, Alex Gonzalez, owner, Evelyn V. Ruiz, owner, location of violation, 4618 Lake Trudy Drive, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer. I am presenting this case for the property located at 4618 Lake Trudy Drive. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items. Copy of the notice of violation sent by regular mail to the owner of record. Copy of the notice of violation sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, and a copy of the deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $271.77. The property owner is not here, but his GC that's going to take responsibility for the project is. And he's been provided copies. On May 17th, after receiving a complaint about unpermitted work being completed at this location, I completed an inspection and observed a pergola being constructed in the rear yard. I spoke with the property owner on site and explained that a permit was required and one photo was taken. While completing the research for this case, I was able to verify that there were 3 permits for this location that were in expired status. There was also an addition to the rear of the home that was not permitted. 5 photos were obtained from various websites to show the room. On May 20th, I was able to verify that the property owner applied for the accessory permit for the pergola, and an extension request was submitted for the 3 expired permits. On May 24th, Mr. Gonzalez requested a meeting to discuss the violations and the permitting for the rear room addition. Mr. Gonzalez asked for time to hire a GC that would take responsibility for the already completed work. On July 9th, Mr. Gonzalez sent me an email stating that he had called several GCs and the lowest cost was of approximately around $26,000, and that was not an affordable option for him. He asked for additional time of 90 days because he was going to attempt to obtain his GC license to take responsibility for the work himself. The class did not start until the end of July, so 90 days would be the end of October that he would have the class finished. On October 17th, I received a voicemail from Lewis with Synergy Home Builders stating that he was going to help the property owner, but had a few questions. There were some back and forth voicemails left between the two of us, but we didn't really actually have a full conversation at that point. On October 5th, I was able to verify that there was not a permit submitted for the addition as of yet. I sent out a notice of violation by regular mail. On December 2nd, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, completed an affidavit of posting, and one photo was taken. On January 10th and again on January 15th, on December 20th, I sent out a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, completed an affidavit of posting, and one photo was taken. Again, on January 10th and on January 15th, I was able to verify that there was not a permit submitted for the room addition. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing an addition to be constructed without the proper permits and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until February 3rd, 2025 to obtain the necessary permits, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request the costs incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $271.77 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay. I have no questions for code enforcement at this time. And so you may come up. So I hear you say, is there anything else you'd like me to hear?
No,
And-
the only thing is the addition was made prior to him buying the house.
Understood. Yeah, I got
Okay,
that.
so, no, but he's willing to do what has to be done to correct this matter.
And your name for the record?
My name is Louis, we spoke, but it was just, he was going back and forth whether to go with us or not.
And sorry, your last name?
Asion, A-S-I-O-N,
And you've been retained as general contractor for the project?
correct.
And so code enforcement has asked for me to allow the respondent until February 3rd. Do you foresee any hiccups in?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I was already registered this morning with the city.
Permits and.
So all I gotta do is just fill out the permit.
Okay, and code enforcement, you're confident that you don't see any roadblocks to them getting those permits in by February 3rd?
Not as far as I know. I don't know of any delays right now in building, so I don't believe so, no. I think we would be okay. That's a couple of weeks out, so I think we would be okay.
It is the reason the respondent obviously has done what he said he's going to do. He's he's retained a GC. He seems to be moving in the right direction.
Mhm.
And I don't want there to be just an annoyance for all of us just because so I'm tempted to give maybe toward the end of February, just that way you have some time. If anything unforeseen happens, does code enforcement have any problem with that?
No, sir.
Okay, then that's the order that I will enter. I'll find in favor of the city, find the respondent is in violation for construction without permits. We'll allow the respondent until February 28, 2025. It's a Friday. February 28, 2025 to have that permit in hand. If not in hand by that date, is there a safety issue that I'm not foreseeing other than the general safety that goes along with?
No, sir.
Rather than the $250, I'm going to make that $100 a day on the fine.
Okay.
And then I will order the respondent to pay the administrative costs that have been incurred by the city in prosecution of this case of $271.77. And that amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No, no
Got it.
questions at this time.
And
Thank you.
the respondent will receive a written order to that effect. So they'll receive all of that in
As
writing.
far as for the payment,
Yes, so that's the number. So you'll just reach out to Claudia about the
and
payment.
then they'll do it over the phone kind of thing.
And-
Yeah, I believe you have to.
Actually, in the order, there will be an email address there. Her contact information will be in there. So if you'll just reach out, the information will be right there in the order. Just reach out to Claudia and you can arrange to make those payments then.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
set. Thank
Yep,
you
we're
so
set. Nice meeting you.
So maybe should I go ahead and change that information and take your name out in the orders?
I think until after March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so leave it in for now.
Case number 2024-1129, Andrew Richard Henry, owner, location of violation, 226 Alabama Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Thank you. Good afternoon, April Bennett, Code Enforcement Officer. I am presenting this case for the property located at 226 Alabama Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: Copy of the certified notice of violation sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. A copy of the updated notice of violation sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the statement of violation and notice of hearing sent by certified mail to the owner of record, posted on the property and City Hall. Copy of the PowerPoint presentation, affidavit of postings, evidence of mailings, the code section in violation of, copy of the original deed to the property, and a copy of the cost incurred if the magistrate finds the respondent in violation in the amount of $346.41, and he is not here. On August 7th, code enforcement was called to this location after the St. Cloud Police Department did a search warrant at that location. I had observed several broken windows, missing front door, damaged concrete around the front door framing, and exposed electrical wiring near the front door. The house was red tagged as unsafe, and its use or occupancy has been prohibited. The owner of the property was detained, so arrangements were made with Arnco Construction to have the house boarded up. 13 photos were taken. On August 9th, I returned to the property to verify that the boarding was completed. 5 additional photos were taken. On August 13th, I sent out a,
Let me pause you.
I'm sorry.
So I have photographs from outside and I have photographs from inside. When you were inside the property, was the property owner there?
No, sir, he was detained at the time.
Did you have permission to be in the property?
Yes, where the PD had us enter the property to do an inspection. We were in there with them.
Did you have permission of the property owner to be inside the property?
No.
Do I have an evidentiary problem here?
As far as I understand that they were on the property by virtue of ongoing police activity related to criminal behavior. So I think the police have the opportunity to be on the premises, have the right to be on the premises due to the criminal activity, and they asked us, the code enforcement officers, to come in.
Okay.
So we're-
On August 13th, I sent out a notice of violation by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, and completed an affidavit of posting. 1 photo was taken. On September 4th, while in the area, I observed that the grass at this location was high. 3 photos were taken. On September 9th, a re-inspection was completed, and I observed the grass was still high at this location. I was able to verify that the property owner was still incarcerated, so I proceeded with preparing a lot clearing notice. On September 10th, I posted the property with a lot clearing notice, and 4 photos were taken. On September 13th, I received a call from Single Source Property Solutions stating that they were managing this property for the mortgage company and they would take care of the lot mowing. On September 13th, while in the area, I observed that a board was removed from one of the broken windows. I notified St. Cloud Police Department since I was able to verify that the property owner was still incarcerated at that time. On September 30th, I was able to verify that there was not an active permit on file for the repairs. On October 1st, Supervisor Cole and I went to post this property. While on site, we were able to make contact with the property owner who advised he was recently released from incarceration. Mr. Henry was hand-delivered a copy of the notice of violation, provided information about the violations and what he needed to do to correct them. We also assisted Mr. Henry in reattaching the removed board to the house to secure the broken window. I sent an updated notice of violation by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, completed an affidavit of posting. While posting the property, I observed that the grass was cut but was already starting to get high again. So the violation was not cured at that time. I also observed that the mailbox was flagged as a vacant property, which explained the returned mail that we had received. 5 photos were taken. On October 15th, a reinspection was performed and I observed high grass and weeds accumulation on the property and no permits on record for the necessary repairs. 2 photos were taken. On November 8th, a reinspection was performed and I observed that the grass in the front yard was mowed. However, the rear yard was still high. I also verified that there were no active permits on file for the necessary repairs. On October 12th, I had received an email stating that the property was completely mowed. I performed an inspection and I verified that the property was mowed and that violation was now cured. 1 photo was taken. On September 15th, I sent a statement of violation and notice of hearing by certified mail, posted the property and City Hall, completed an affidavit of posting, and 1 photo was taken. On January 10th, a reinspection was performed and I observed that the property was recently mowed and there was additional signage added to the property. There are now no trespassing signs and notice of a new management company. I contacted the posted phone number and spoke with Heather from Consulting Group, who advised that they are now in the process of attempting to work out a short sale agreement with the bank. 6 photos were taken. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing this location to remain in disrepair with broken windows, broken door frames, electrical hazards, and missing smoke alarms and in an unmaintained condition. A permit not obtained for the repairs and not corrected by the time specified. The city would recommend that the respondent be given until February 3rd, 2025 to cure the violations, or a fine in the amount of $250 a day be assessed until compliance is met. The city would also request that the cost incurred in bringing this case before the magistrate in the amount of $346.41 to be paid within 7 days of the written order by the special magistrate. And that concludes my presentation.
On the work without permits, walk me through again what that work is. I know, and how we know that there was work done without permits.
So this is not the first time that this house has had warrants served on them. There was a time right before this one that was actually done that the windows were also busted out of the home. He made repairs and replaced the windows without permitting. When it was originally done, we told him that he was going to need permits to do so, and he did the work without permits. And then the second warrant busted the new windows out.
Got it. The busted windows have been replaced before. That answered my question.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else from the city?
Just quickly, Mr. Smith, so as the officer pointed out, there's an entity working on a short sale, so that for purposes of this, the city's probably going to, we'll record the initial findings of fact immediately. You just want that to be on the record.
Okay.
when We do that.
No issue, and I believe my standard language gives you the permission to do so.
Right, right. Thank you.
And then based on the evidence testimony presented, I find in favor of the city, find the violations presented by the city, that the respondent is in violation of all the code sections presented by the city. You have not included in your request for relief any finding on the overgrown grass. did you want a finding of fact on that in case it happens again? Since they did comply after the time you required in your notices.
No, I think they're gonna keep up with the grass is what
Okay.
they told me, so I think we'll be fine. They've mowed it twice since
Okay.
then, so they are maintaining it.
Then the order will not include reference to the grass violation that was initially cited but has since been cured.
Thank you.
We'll also order that if any of the violations are not cured by February 3rd, 2025, a fine in the amount of $250 per day will run for each day until the property is in full compliance. We'll order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $346.41. That amount will be due within 7 days from the date of my written order.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Smith, the next two cases on the agenda, the first one, the Morales case, the city's going to no process that case at this
Okay.
point. And the other case, Michigan Project LLC, there's been a change in ownership on that property we're aware of, so we're going to have to renotice that.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
All right, that takes us to the Wisconsin Avenue.
Case number 2024-1406, Lorenzo Alexander Ramirez Carrington, owner, Stephanie Fink, owner, location of violation 828 Wisconsin Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida.
Good afternoon, Pam Neal, City of St. Cloud Code Enforcement Officer. I am presenting this case for the property located at 828 Wisconsin Avenue. At this time, I would like to enter into evidence the following items: copy of the courtesy of notice sent to the owner, copy of the notice violation sent by certified mail to the owner and posted on the property and City Hall, a copy of the notice violation with the new date sent to the owner, copy of the statement of violation notice of hearing sent to the owner and posted on the property and City Hall, copy of the affidavits of postings, a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, evidence of mailings, a copy of the deed to the property, a copy of the code sections in violation, a copy of the cost incurred if the special magistrate finds a respondent in violation in the amount of $298.77. Respondent is not here. Let's see. On November 4th, 2024, I received a complaint about some of the wood fence panels that have fallen and are blocking the sidewalk and high grass and weeds at this location. On November 4th, I went to verify the complaint and the fence needed to be maintained, and there were fence panels blocking the sidewalk and grass and weeds were very high in the rear yard. I took 2 photos. What's he doing?
Can you go to the one of the vegetative growth? Back one more. Just narratively describe for me what I'm looking at here. I think I understand what I'm looking at, but just to match.
Very high weeds and grass.
So those are weeds that I'm looking at.
Yes.
Okay.
On November 15th, the reinspection was performed and the fence had not been repaired and the panels were still blocking the sidewalk and the grass and weeds were still very high in the rear yard. I took 2 more photos. On November 18th, a notice violation was sent by certified mail to the owner and posted on the property and City Hall. An affidavit of posting was completed, and I took 3 photos. On December 10th, a reinspection was performed and the fence panels had been removed off the sidewalk, but the fence had not been repaired and the grass and weeds were still very high in the rear yard. And I took 2 photos. On December 27th, the reinspection was performed and the fence had not been repaired and the grass and weeds were still very high in the rear yard. So on the same day, December 27th, a statement of violation and notice of hearing was sent to the owner by certified mail and posted on the property and City Hall. An affidavit of posting was completed, and I took 3 photos. Okay, there's the first one. You can see that the weeds a little bit better. They're really high. And then there's my posting.
Well, just as high as they are, I was trying to determine whether they were a hedge or if it was weeds.
No, they were
Weeds.
weeds. On January 10th and 13th, re-inspections were performed and the property is still in non-compliance. And I took 4 photos. It is the city's recommendation that the respondent be found in violation of allowing the accessory structure of a fence not being maintained in a safe manner and the grass and weeds to be above the height of 8 inches at this location, and to have the fence repaired and kept maintained and the grass and weeds mowed by January 30th, 2025, or pay a $250 a day fine until compliance is met. The city would like to also recover the costs incurred in bringing the case before the special magistrate in the amount of $298.77 to be paid within 7 days of the written order of the magistrate as well. And that concludes my presentation.
Have you had any communication from property owners?
No,
And then-
nothing.
And is the structure occupied
Yeah, it's occupied. I went to the door.
by
several-
owner or by tenant?
Owner.
A finding in favor of the city. You've made your metro evidentiary burden. I was just trying to think if I can think of any other way to try to get their attention, to help you get their attention.
Yeah, I went up to the door several times with a car in the driveway and they don't answer the door.
Hmm.
And I know they've gotten my notices. For one, they did move the panels off the sidewalk. They at least did that.
Or we're assuming that they did it, not somebody else.
Well,
Those
yeah,
are-
I'm assuming that.
That's a possibility too. Okay, well, maybe my order will get their attention. I order finding in favor of the city. Find that the respondent is in violation of the cited code sections. Will allow the respondent until January 30th, 2025 to cure those violations. If all violations are not cured by that date, a fine in the amount of $250 per day will run until compliance is met. We'll also order the respondent to pay the administrative costs incurred by the city in the amount of $298.77. That amount to be due within 7 days of the date of my written order.
Thank you.
Unfinished business, none. New business, none. Next scheduled meeting, February 19, 2025.
Anything else from the city?
No, sir.
Okay, then we are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.